So today topic, uh, before we start, today's is chapter 6. It's called Dhyān Yog, Yoga of Meditation. So before we start, we just recap what we learned last week so that you will reconnect again. So the chapter 5, what we learned, the overall understanding of how we need to let go the ego as an individual and rejoices in the bliss of infinity by practicing and by understanding the karma sannyas and karma yoga, the activity we discussed. So we need to work like a lotus. We should not be affected. We also talk about the self purification, how to purify, and certain terminology we all keep using this time also, like yukt and ayukt. United, the yukt means the united in consciousness with the God. Ayukt means not united with the God. And we talk about the self-knowledge of Dhyān Yog that can help to connect with that bliss. And lastly, Krishna discussed about the meditation, that how to do a meditation with devotion. So he revealed the technique about to focus on the eyebrow. And this is like a third eye meditation technique he introduced. And that's where it's start the talk about the devotion. And so it is a continuation of this chapter 6. So this chapter 6 is actually, it is, if you ask me, all in our teachers training, majority part we have done it. Now, what are the obstacles that this chapter can help us? There is nothing new in this chapter, but what can help this chapter is how we should practice and what are the obstacles we are facing. And we have the same issues all the time. Then how to overcome it. In fact, that also you know. But by listening from the Krishna's mouth, we are like ensuring ourselves, okay, now is already written, is already told, it's already scripted. So that's why we need to feel more comfortable then and like, I want to do that, or I want to pursue this way. So there are a lot of straightforward answers and straightforward words and techniques is documented in this chapter. This chapter is quite heavy, but yet simple. If we understand one or two elements, that's what the Krishna says. And in this chapter, Arjun asks frequent questions. So I have noted down the questions as well. So verse 1 and 4, he talked, and again a continuation about that from the last chapter about the karma yogi and true sannyasi. 5th to 10 verse, he talk about the self-preparation. What are the characteristics of the yogi and the advanced yogi, and how to prepare if you are a normal people or if you are a normal karma yogi, how to become a sannyasi yogi. So we need to levitate, we need to become advanced yogi. So what are the characteristics, how to prepare, that he mentioned very clearly. Same time he talk about a lot meditation, its process, its importance, its technique, and finally its benefits. So there are a lot of information and talk about in meditation and technique that directly related with the mind. So he did talk about the mind, the power of mind, what happens if you master your mind, what happens if you don't master your mind. So in this, how you make a discipline and how you make this meditation process so smooth, so you become a true yogi, true karma sannyas yogi, to master the mind and elevate yourself for the true realization of the devotion through the God bliss. And that's where we are connecting ourselves to the higher consciousness. Not one time, every moment, every day, without any disturbance. And how to be there, how to be connected all the time. That's he's mentioning about it. So all the tools, we always like to know, a lot of students wants to know, give me the tools. How do I achieve? How do I master the yogi? How do I become an advanced yoga practitioner? How do I become a connected all the time? How I achieve my mastery over the mind? So in this chapter, you will get to know all the tools. So technically now onwards, we don't have any excuse to become an advanced yogi. Okay. So that is a good and bad part, because now his ball is in our court. So when we complain, when we ask the question, we have to think. We need to remember that I am practicing it, what is taught or what is told in this chapter. And it's very simple and very few words only, but it's really make a big difference. So this chapter reveals a lot of tools, techniques, and how part to achieve our the spiritual life success. Okay, so let's start. So Dhyān Yog, the yoga of meditation. So this also called Atma Sanyam Yog. Atma Sanyam Yog means to know yourself by practicing the true meditation, true yoga. Now, all of us is yoga instructor, so I don't want to go into more detail and definition about what is yoga. We are already aware of the yoga. The word union, yoga means union. Union for what? Union from normal human to divine human, individual consciousness to divine consciousness or pure consciousness. This union is called yoga or yoga. From physical body to travel to the bliss body, piercing the panchakoshas. That is the connection we need to understand when we talk about the yoga here or yoga here. So it's the same meaning. So Krishna continuing explanation. So he skipped talking continuation of that last chapter, and he mentioned again two types of the people. Again he mentioned about karma yogi. Now this time he talk about yogi. He's focusing on the individual. Who is the karma yogi? Who is the sannyas, karma sannyas yogi? And how to become this, and what are the drawbacks and obstacles about it. So karma yogi who is practicing spirituality without disturbing your daily duties. This is how we can put it in ourselves. We are having a job, we are having a family, and day-to-day work, what we are doing. And same time we try to practice ourselves, whatever the meditation, the yoga, and try to connect with ourselves. Whatever the technique you know, whatever the understanding you know, whatever is the knowledge that you practice, and try to balance your material life and the spiritual life. So we are using this as a karma yogi or gruhastha people. Now there is another people that is karma sannyas yogi, that is practicing the same what we want to practice, but they renounce the daily or worldly duties. They may be staying in the society, but they don't engage in a social activity, or they don't engage in the any kind of relationship or any kind of business or any activity. They just purely focus from morning to night time, is just focusing on themselves, and they already let go all this work, and they're fully focusing like full-time job in spirituality. Okay, a true to know yourself and elevate themselves. So we already discussed this about last chapter, but then we need to understand. Now here Krishna talk about this verse is very significant, that sometimes all this, he focuses on the karma sannyas yogi. Karma yogi, we are aware, very well aware of it, because we are already a part of it. But he emphasizes on karma sannyas. Those karma sannyasi yogi, those who renounce it, this worldly things, majority time you will see that they do sacrifice, they do fire ceremony, they do all this kind of rituals. Not always all this activity that makes real sannyasi. So here he talk about, or he tried to let us know that who are the true sannyasi, what are the criteria, what are the characteristics about the real. Now if you see nowadays, especially India, and now actually you will see the trend in the western side also, that people is getting more aware, and its spirituality also become now a business, and it's starting as a evolution as an economy. Okay. And if you see, like, a lot of people, you will see a different category, because they want to create a different market. Now you see spirituality as a business, so everyone is trying to enter and creating that kind of business need. So a lot of people is like, we want to enter, they want to create a uniqueness. So there are like people called falahari, that the person who's only living on the fruits. So I can eat only fruits. So you see, there are a lot of people in majority time, all these things is a part of certain culture, certain ashram, certain area in India. But now it's become more marketed, even in India as well as outside the India. Dudhadhari, that means the person is only survive on the milk, pure milk, cow milk. They only survive. They don't take any other form of any food or any grains or anything, no fruits. So there are some people who eat only fruits. There are some people is only drink only a milk. There are some people called Pavanahari. It's like a breatharian. They don't eat at all. They just breathe and survive. There are some people like that, because they basically they are just in a deep meditation, and they do certain activities that they don't consume the much of energy, or they take the energy from the different sun energy or air and the plants and all this. But technically they are breatharian. And this concept in a western side is very like a trend is coming in, breatharian concept. So Pavanahari. And lastly is the Naga Babas, or like Agoris, ascetic, those who don't wear any cloth. And then they don't shave hair, and everything is like very natural. So you see, these are like a trend. Is more like a model or fashion, or it's, if I tell myself, or if you see, oh, Prashant is not eating food, he is only survive on the fruits only, then I am creating a value to you. I am creating a uniqueness. Oh, he's different. You try to understand here. So, and if I practice yoga, or if I say anything, so you will be, I'm trying to convince you that I know something, or I am a good into this, or I am a, if I want to penetrate, or if I want to teach anything that is related yoga, or there's anything spirituality, it is very easy for me, because people see me that I have achieved something. You are, nowadays people is judging, people is try to evaluate person's knowledge based on how they are behaving, how they are looking, how their body is, how their experience, knowledge, all this is matter, but how they are eating and all these things also. So it is very like a selling point. If I say that, oh, I am not eating for last 5 years, that is very fascinating. You will be surprised. And then you say, oh, must be practicing some kind of advanced breathing technique so that you can survive. So these are the people, or you will find any extreme, and there are so many people will come and will be in this list. This is just start. It was there anyways, but it was not marketed. Now it is marketed because it become an industry. So it is very difficult. Don't get caught into this kind of rituals or experiments, because all this is good or bad, we don't know. Okay. We no need to follow that also. That also Krishna says very clearly in this. So all these people you find, that is, maybe they are true sannyasi, but this is not the criteria. Okay, understand that. There are true sannyasi also, they follow this. But by following this, no, it won't make them a true sannyasi. So don't use this as a criteria. Don't use this as a judgment. Okay, and don't caught into this. This is like a marketing things, and don't caught into that. Oh, label it. Oh wow, I think he's not eating. Then he must be knowing something, or he's a true sannyasi. He's a true karma sannyasi. Okay, so then the question comes in: who is the real sannyasi? Because if they are not this case, so again Krishna says very clearly, those who really renounces the pleasure of the mind and senses, they are the true sannyasis. They are already let go, already withdraw their sense, their renunciation from the day-to-day experience, what this physical senses talk about, and the mind. So all these material things we try to, when we try to eat fancy food, we try to experience certain cloth, we try to go into that certain situation and experience the some kind of a beach or mountain or whatever. So they already beyond going and remove themselves from this kind of activities or this kind of sensual experience. So those people who are a true sannyasi. Now some of them, they already let go all this. They already stop their mind and withdraw that themselves from this, all these experiences, but they are not doing they supposed to do. So they stop, they withdraw, but they have to achieve the goal is also important. Now what is the goal? Again, we discuss, it's a similar goal to the last chapter what we discussed about. They have to do a good to their humanity and become a role model for the society, like a Buddha. He already renounced it and he developed himself, and then he talk about and he spread the peace and harmony to the world. So then it makes sense. That is the true goal. And sometimes people stop. It's like you are running on the one direction. Let's say you're supposed to go left and you are running on the right hand side, and you realize after some time that, oh, I'm in the wrong direction. So you stop, you come back. So yes, you already withdraw and come back, but that won't solve the problem. You need to walk and run another side, that this is the area or this is the direction you should move on. So we need to be aware that by stopping it won't work. You need to keep walking and let go naturally, rather than you withdraw and then you hold it and then you want to just show off, or you want to achieve this, or you are doing this for sake of showing it or sake of doing it. And that's where a lot of people caught into it. So the true sannyasi, they literally, they don't bother. For them the goal, it's a journey itself. They don't stop till the goal achieved, or they keep continue, even if, because they don't have the any goal, they keep doing it, keep walking it, keep doing good for the humanity. So this is where a true sannyasi lies on it. Okay, so we need to aware about it. Now as we discussed earlier, and we knew this, the yoga is a union of individual consciousness that help us to join that divine consciousness. Once you know this, once you are traveling towards this, that means you are a true yogi. And once you have experienced this and you are going to spend more time onto this, you will become a true sannyasi. That means true sannyasi has this attribute. You don't see himself no longer is entertaining the individual consciousness. Just keep practicing, keep making the genuine effort to connect it all the time with that divine consciousness, that pure consciousness, and stay there. And from there, whatever the guidance coming in, he used this body, he used this individual consciousness as a tool, as a medium and then do whatever they're supposed to do. This is where the normal yogi become a true sannyasi. This is we need to understand. So let's say if we are a normal yogi, because we are practicing yoga, we are practicing meditation. So we are aware of that understanding that I am a true individual consciousness. So I practice. And I also know that I'm practicing to connect myself to the divine or the pure consciousness. Till that is fine. But then we need to keep practice. And once you connect it to the higher level, you are having that experiences, you are having that, you are experiencing that growth into your body, mind, emotions. That's where you are eligible. You are already become a true sannyasi. Now, this is where there are some role changes is happening. Now, what I call it is a change of gear. What do you mean by that? When you are driving a car, you don't drive only your neutral or first or second or third gear. You first, initially you start, you have a first gear, then you second, and then once you pick up the fast, you pick up that speed, then you make it a top gear, so that your car is moving fast and smooth and steady. So you are changing the gear in the right time, right direction, and the right moment. So now this way, we also need to change a gear. Okay, this is where Krishna says very important learning lessons here for us as a yogi. He says there are two paths of attain the welfare: path of contemplation and path of action. Contemplation about the knowledge and path of action. So he focused more about the action part here. Our mind is, when your mind is already purified, and you are ready for advanced yoga. That this is the time you are changing your gear. So let's say you are practicing every day a classic hour practice of breathing exercise, joint loosening exercise, sun salutation practice, the hatha yoga, physical exercise you prepare, all the postures you prepare, and practicing in a proper way. So let's say 6 months you practice. You will see the body issues and all this start covering up. You feel more calm. You will see the changes. Then you practicing maybe pranayama. Then you practicing kriya. Then you start sitting the meditation. Let's say one year, 2 years you practice. You already become a good into this, and you already feel that understanding. You already feel the consciousness. You already feel that silence. Then what? How long you continue with this? So we need to ask the question: do I need to play in this for rest of my life? Number one. Second thing is, are we driving on the second or third gear all the time? We need to drive on the top gear. Then only the speed is, you are utilizing your time and you reach your destination fast or on time. So this life is also, we are driving a car. We already have that goal. So we need to aware, now we are already in the car and we are already started driving. We need to know where to change gear so that we can maximize our speed and we can go and reach our goal on the right time. So the first thing is, once you start practicing all this, make sure what we learn in the last chapter, purification, we need to purify the mind. We need to purify ourselves. We need to purify our emotions. We need to purify the gunas. Once we start, we are already eligible for advanced yoga. So that time we need to leave the karma yoga aside, and you need to take the new roles and responsibility, a new job as a karma sannyas yogi. That's what Krishna says. And that's where you are ready. Now this changing of gear, majority time it happens automatically. Now you will say, oh, I don't see that. But I'm sure, because I knew some of you already, we have discussed so many times. And you also aware of sometimes when you start learning few months ago, you are seeing your physical body itself, about you have maybe a shoulder pain or knee pain or some issues physically. Once you start learning, then you realize that yoga is beyond the physical. Then you talk about pranayama. When we learn about practice, when we learn about therapy, then slowly we understand about mind. Then we knew that, oh yeah, yoga is all about mastering the emotions of the mind. Patanjali already says that. So we try to understand. Now, chittavrutti nirodha. So once we understand, then we know all about the mind. Now, once you are aware, then slowly you some of you already we discussed very clearly that, oh, I don't have a feeling. Last time I used to go to this. Now Christmas is coming, the 31st is coming. So maybe let's say 2 years down the time, 2 years ago or 1 year ago, you are enjoying the party, drinking and get together. But maybe after in this practicing this and listening this 1 year of yoga, and what we are progressing, you don't feel to that, you don't feel comfortable with that kind of celebration, because you know that this is a waste of time. You don't have that cravings to have that new iPhone or new cloth, or that you are excited about, or someone now you will get a Christmas gift. Last time maybe you are very excited, very emotional about it, but nowadays maybe, yeah, it's okay, yes, thank you very much. Or you don't have any desire about anything to go to new, or you will be just part of doing the work or your job, or you keep in that relationship. You already experience it, we already discussed some of you. So this is where you already knew your mind, your emotions, that I'm going higher level already, because I don't have no longer that same interest in this material world. And your quest to know more about the spirituality, to know more about this talk, about philosophical talk, to know more about yourself, that is the symptoms that you are already, you need to know more, you need to practice more, and you know that there are more to come, and I want to be the part of it. That is the reason we are talking this. That is the reason you are sincere and be a part of this talk. Everyone has opportunity to be in this part, but not everyone is here. It's very easy to connect, but why few of them is only coming regularly and listening regularly, those who are not in this? That's where they already have that hunger. So understand that you are already eligible already. Okay. So once you are eligible now, and knowingly, unknowingly, you already changed that gear, by the way. You may not realize, or if you see, just put yourself 2 years ago, how your mindset you are thinking. 2 years ago, when you go to see your friend in a lunch meeting, how you are reacting, how you are behaving. 2 years ago, when you go out for any social occasion with your family or with your husband, how you are reacting. 2 years ago, if anyone is talking bad about you or insulting you, or how you feel yourself in some undesired situation, how you are reacting, and now you feel how you are. So you will see that you have changed a lot, because of you knew and you have practiced yourself by any form of yoga, into physical or emotion or the meditation or kriyas and all. So you have already changed that gear, knowingly and unknowingly, but we are not aware of it. So this chapter, I will Krishna help us to try to put it black and white. What is needs to be done, how needs to be done, and where you are heading towards it. Because once this is clear, then the path is totally different. The responsibility is totally different, because here the job scope is changing. You become a manager to CEO, so you have a lot of responsibility. Similarly, you have a lot of perks. So we are enjoying a different life here. So here, once our mind and purified, once you are already have that awareness, you are ready to change the gear as a karma sannyas yogi. Put it in another way, material activity now serve no purpose to you. Krishna says, when your material things, you are not excited about new iPhone, new money, and if you make money, also fine. You don't make money. So money or any material thing will no longer excited you. And meditation is become your means. You need to like to sit down. You like to spend time with yourself. You like to be alone. That is where you know that you are already changing. So this is where it is a symptoms and threshold you need to aware. We need to aware. Now here, I would like to talk about very interesting things. When the meaning of yoga, we discuss about the union with the God, union with the pure consciousness, union with the high level of divinity. So that's where the goal. So goal and the process, how to achieve that goal, it's the same yoga. This is where it's tricky and interesting, because our destination also the same, and to achieve that destination, the means is also the same, the tools is also the same. So when you talk about yoga, the goal is to be united with that divinity, and how to do that, how to achieve that, the process, the tools, the path is also that same. Yoga can help. Now that path of that union with the God, or the process, or the tools, that's where we are exploring more about karma yoga, bhakti yoga, hatha yoga, tantra yoga, gnana yoga. All these different tools can help us, different paths to help us, different techniques to help us to united with that divinity. So we need to aware, and we need to use this very carefully and understanding. Now Krishna says very interestingly, define very clearly, that those who are new to you, so we can put it this way, like a new or the beginners people to the yoga, they are performing, for them is a karma yoga is good. So you do your part, daily routines and everything, and you go to the studio, you go to spend your time in yoga, and then and try to understand. Now when I say that, I'm not saying that you go and perform the asanas and do a physical exercise. Okay, this is when we talk about karma yoga is you do your job and everything, but you also aware and practice spirituality by practicing the true yoga. This is for the beginners and those who are new to yoga, or those who are new to that. People need to know why I am here, what is the purpose of my life, or they're new to the spirituality, they have a certain issues to know themselves. So for them is those who are aspiring for them yoga, for them is a karma yoga is good. But for us, we already practicing the karma yoga for few months now, and we are reasonably okay. And now we need to elevate our practices. We need to elevate. We need to go higher level of the yoga. That's where the karma sannyas is more suitable for us. Now you will say, that means what? I need to renounce all my life and like my husband, my wife, children, and all this? No. Okay, but we are doing you perform wherever, however we are performing, but we withdraw all the senses from that. We withdraw all the experience from that. We withdraw all the mind and emotions from that, and then we perform the duties. So we are renouncing our senses, pleasure, sensual experiences from that, and we perform the task as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, as a children, whatever we are doing day to day life. So this is where we need to change the gear. Now why and how and what are the obstacles we need to talk about in the next chapter. So now the questions comes in, when one is elevated in the science of yoga, when do you think? So it's very clearly Krishna says, neither attached to the sense, object, or the actions. then you are ready. Then you are already elevated halfway and you are ready for that going to further. When we are no longer attached with the physical object or material object, material situation, senses, pleasure, or any actions. All our actions is doing for to know ourselves, to know that this divine and be the company with it. Then you are become a true elevated yogi. Now, when your mind is no longer performing any activities to for sensual pleasure, and once we develop the mastery over the mind, this is where we knew and we are ready officially that I want to go higher level because I have now mastered my mind. I have now at least understanding that I don't have any cravings for the food. Any food you give me, I will eat because I don't see any taste. Because I see the food as a Brahma. I see the food as a divine gift. Wherever I go, whatever I cook, I master. Whichever situation I am doing a job, my boss is scolding me, even though I do a good job, but I am not affected. I see him as a divine creature or divine's manifestation and me also. Then it won't affect me. Maybe he's doing good for me. He's just a medium. Every time I go to the beach and I feel very nice experience about this breeze coming in, the nice scenery and all, but I don't get affected. I don't want to be enjoy that pleasure. I'm just sitting or experiencing as it is without any judgment. Then I'm ready for this elevated yoga. When if the difficulties come into my life, the problem comes into my life, health issues, financial issues, all this relationship issues, I'm stable. I don't get affected. Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes I will may get a shock, but then I'm back to normal. Okay, thank you very much. Let me continue. Whatever I should do, let me do that. Or you strike a very good uh, jackpot or the very high end promotion, or you achieve something that you deserve a national award. Also, you are safe. You are not get affected. You are not get any proud of it. At that both situation, you are feeling that, oh, I'm just a medium and the divine is helping me in a both side. And divine is with me, by the way, in my bad time as well as my good time. That means you are not entertaining your senses to rise up and develop that ego that I have done it. This is my body. This is my hair. This is my look. So once we achieve this, that means we are ready for the new role of this advanced yoga or elevated yoga or karma sannyas yogi. This is exactly the Krishna defined that once we are mastery over the mind and we don't have any, no longer have a desire of the sensual experience of this material world, that means we are ready. Okay. Now this today's session, I would like to do interactive because you may have a question at this point immediately point. So you just stop me and we can discuss. Certain area I would like to ask the questions, but in any point of time you feel that you don't keep quiet till the last end because this we require to immediate discuss and then we can talk about. So any point of time you think you want to ask questions, you need to have a doubt, please clear it and we will continue the discussion. Now, so when we talk about elevations, that how and who, when once we're ready, we know how once one can be ready with that elevation of this or advanced yoga. Then we need to aware. It comes with the responsibility. When you become a advanced yogi or you are become a sannyas, karma sannyas yogi, it comes with the responsibility. It's like once you become a Spider-Man, you have a responsibility. We are responsible for our own elevation. We are responsible for our own karma. We are responsible for our own action. Very important. What there are few aspects to this. That means if you don't perform a good action, if you don't work hard, you cannot elevate, even though you are eligible. Sometimes you already qualified, but you need to put effort to go into that university or to that particular advanced stage, and you need to work hard and get that higher level of experience or higher level of degree. So by getting eligibility won't be help you anyways. So, and who is responsible for it? We are the one who is responsible. So we need to be very aware that are we ready to take the new job? The offer is ready for you. Okay, now you are appointed as a CEO, or would you like to work as a CEO? You are already eligible. You know that yes, I am eligible, but are you really want to do that? Do you really want to be a part of it, or you are just happy with the 9 to 5 job? If you are happy with the 9 to 5 job, it's fine. If you are happy with what in your current state, is fine. But that again, remember that is not our true destination. That is not our true goal of this life. So we are responsible for our own actions, and we need to make 100% work towards our own elevation. So here one of it says that, why I want to mention here one Hindi proverb here. एक पेड़ दो पक्षी बैठे, एक गुरु एक चेला, अपनी करनी गुरु उतारे, अपनी करनी चेला. That means it's giving that two birds are sitting in the tree like a guru and shishya, guru and disciple. Guru has his work, and student has or disciple has his own work and own karma. Now a lot of people here think that, oh, I have my spiritual guru, so he will take care of me. No one will take care of. We have to take care of ourselves. Guru can help us to create that opportunity for you to have that guidance, that know-how. The food is prepared, but you have to eat it. Okay. No one will take you. We have to help ourselves, because no one can breathe on behalf of you. We have to take a breath with our own effort. Understand that. There is no selfishness here. So we need to be very aware that we are responsible for whatever the consequences is happening. Similarly, if even though you have done good to you have done any good actions and you are getting the wrong output, still you have to make yourself responsible. Why I come to this point? And then you learn from it and you elevate from there. So Guru can help you here, create a platform, understanding, you can discuss, but you have to take action. No one can take action for you. Guru can guide you, Guru can help you, Guru can consult you, counsel you. All this can happen, but we need to take the step as an individual. Okay, so this is very clearly Krishna says. As you are breathing yourself, so where we need to work it out. Now, this is where we live in this world. We have a so-called previous life, present life, and future life. I want to put it this way. Present life is whatever situation, whichever country we born, whichever family we born in, whichever condition we born in, we call it as a present life. We don't know about our previous life, previous karma, previous sanskara. We don't know. Later we'll talk about this topic again. Now we need to, Krishna says very interesting thing here, that any point of time, there are always a gurus are available. So before us, today and tomorrow also, there will be a guru will be available. Those can help us to elevate our practices from this level to this. What the Krishna trying to tell here, that you should not have any excuse that, oh, I don't have any support, I don't know where to look for. No, that everywhere is people is available, those real guru. So this is the divine's job. This is the guru's job. Make sure they are available and they are ready for help us, those who are hungry to help us to elevate. So we don't have excuse in a way. And that is why we are responsible to find a true guru, number one, to accompany with them, to connected with them, to learn from them, and grow together. The ball is in our court. It is our responsibility. I always say, last our sessions, that we need to be, it's our responsibility to connect in the Wi-Fi. You need to be in the range of the Wi-Fi. The guru's Wi-Fi is already there, available. It's your responsibility to be in that range and connected. You already inserted the username and password, but if you go out, even though you have a Wi-Fi installed and the password is connected, but you go out of the range and then you complain about it, it won't work. You have to put effort and come back in the range. As long as you are in the range, you are getting automatically, because your username and password is connected, saved. That's why automatically your network will work. Your network will work. You are already communicating knowingly, unknowingly, openly, subtly to that guru. Aware that, understand that. So this is your responsibility. This is my responsibility to connect with that. So this is what he's trying to say, that. And we need to, if you don't have that username and password, then you have to look for it. And that we can help us. Okay. So now here, the mind can play a role. So here I would like to just explain. I don't want to talk more about it. But Krishna says one line. So that's why I want to just make it little explainable. He says that conquer mind is your friend. Uncontrolled mind is your enemy. He used this exact word. That when the mind is conquered, mind is in your hand, he becomes the slave of yourself. Then it becomes a friend. Who is the friend? The friend you like to talk about, the friend you like to hang out. So this is the friend that is only possible when your emotions, your modifications is conquered by yourself. But that is not conquered and it's going here and there. Then the same mind is become enemy. And that's where the issue starts. What is the issues? We are not comfortable with ourselves. You don't like to spend time with yourself. That's why you are going away. You are going and look for the friends. You are going look for the relationship. You are going look for the party. You are going look for that external object, external situation, and pleasure of senses, because you think that can help, or those are my friend. So this is where Krishna says very clearly that control your mind, master your mind, conquer your mind, and that is where is the family. He talked a friend, and uncontrolled mind is your enemy, and this friend and enemy is within you. You don't need to look for anyone else. You just need to look it within you. Then you find the friend and the enemy together. Now to dissect this mind, I would like to give you this four part of this mind, four level of functioning the same mind. It's not the four types of the mind. The mind is only one, but the way it's behave, the way it's changing the gear based on the different situation, different aspect, different area, the application change. So when you say mind, it's called, in Sanskrit we call mana, it's called thought. So when we are thinking, the first origin is start with the thought. Now thought can be positive, thought can be negative. And once the thought starts, thinking process starts, it will connect. You are trying to apply that thoughts. You are working towards that thought. And that's where you are start analyzing the thoughts. Here you are utilizing your intellect, so-called, we call buddhi. So once you have a thought, oh, I want to buy iPhone, that is the thought coming in. Now you are using your intellect to analyze the different models, different specifications, which one is suitable for me. You are using your intellect and buddhi, and then you decide. And also we call here, we are utilizing the power of discrimination. What is right for me, what is wrong for me, what is good for me, what is bad for me, within the budget, without the budget. All this we are utilizing the power of discrimination. Okay. And then once you are having that iPhone, what will happen? It changed the form and you like that iPhone. Wow, I finally bought the new iPhone X. And then the more you see, you feel the beauty about, you like to do more about, and you get attached to it. Now this can be happens to the newly relationship. You find a new boyfriend, you find a new relationship, and you caught into that attachment with that situation. You fall in love with the new country, you fall in love with the new situation, you fall in love with the new job. So that's where automatically the chitta is become the consciousness within us will start get attached, because the mind is playing the role now. And then once you are attached and you have that iPhone or that relationship, you feel very proud. Wow, finally I made it. I purchased the new iPhone. I was planning for so many days, and now I have that budget and I own it. And you are trying to show off to the friends, or you are trying to, if you are, even though you are not showing off anyone, but you feel inside of heart, you feel that, oh, wow, I am good, I am worthy, and I have done it, I have made it. This is where the ego comes in, ahankar. Now this ego we talk about as a ahankar is bodily identification. Similarly with the relationship, oh, now I have a boyfriend, now I have a girlfriend. So you want to put a together picture and you want to show the whole world. Or this is what we are doing. We go to the places, we post the picture to that Instagram, to that website, to that Facebook. So all the activity we do, we are doing these four things. But the four things is not a separate. It's the same mind is playing and changing the role as a mind, as a buddhi, as a intellect and chitta. If you are not very minutely understand that, we are a process and it is like a vicious circle we are using it. So here Krishna says very interesting thing, that you need to conquer the mind. Otherwise you don't know how you are going to be, that same mind has become your enemy. And that's where we complain about our issues, our health issues, our spiritual issues, or our any issues. But we don't try to analyze, use that wisdom to go over that mind and then figure out that where what went wrong. So understand this. In this verse, Krishna says very clearly, the conquered mind is your friend and uncontrolled mind is your enemy. So now it's getting very interesting. So he again very straightforward said, who is the person who can get this advanced yoga? Who is the, how you define that the person is already advanced yogi? So here again Krishna says very clearly that the person who has no dualities for cold or heat, joy and sorrow, honor or dishonor, any situation. You know, if someone praise you, someone insult you, you are safe. You become a thick skin basically, that you are going beyond this, then you are already elevated. If you are going that in that same, you don't get affected by all this, you are already an advanced yogi. Now to put another label, I put it on the Maya, the word Maya. So many times people become thick skinned or they don't get affected but still they're caught into that illusion. Oh, I'm good, or I'm that, or I have that material object. So we need to, those who are out of the Maya, out of the illusion, also they are be a advanced yogi. So I put it that way. I try to define this way, that we go beyond the Maya, beyond the illusion, then we become a yogi. Now, what is illusion? Understand that. What is illusion? Illusion is, it's look real, but it's not real. It's like your dream. Okay. So remember, I gave that definitions. One of the classic definitions: what you see from your eyes and what you hear from your ears, it's all illusion, all Maya. That means everything what we see is illusion. Yes. Whatever we see is illusion. Whatever we hear is illusion. Then what is real? When you close eyes, then you see. That is real. When you close your ears and you hear, that is real. When this is possible? When you are meditating. When you are meditating, your eyes is closed, your ear is closed, or you're connected with yourself. You're doing nothing. When you are doing nothing, you are come to your closer to you, and that's where all the sounds, all the visions you are getting, experience you are getting, that is real. So the reality is within you. Whatever is outside is unreal. When I say is unreal or illusion, it's sooner or later it will going to destroy. It can be a relationship, it can be a money, it can be a business, it can be a house, anything. It will going to go. That is the true reality. Now, so similarly, here again, Krishna explained, those who practicing the gnana and vijnana, he used this two words. Gnana is knowledge. By listening the guru or the scriptures, that also you become an advanced yogi. Now here there is one caution he gave. Not always, like for example, we are listening this Gita class or the higher advanced courses topic we are discussing. So there is a contemplation happening. There is a knowledge, you're increasing the knowledge. But this is a theoretical knowledge. That's why you need to have some point of time, you need to convert this gnana to vijnana, this knowledge to science. What is the science? You need to apply it, application part, the realization part. And that's where happen, once you are applying this, then the internal awakening and the wisdom is starting from within. And you will know. No one will teach you. You know that, oh wow, okay, I'm going and I am progressing in my journey. I'm progressing in my emotions. I'm progressing in my advancement of my yoga. So knowledge and application of that knowledge, which is very important. So here he very clearly said that gnana and vijnana can help you to become an advanced yogi. And once you become an advanced yogi, he give another three so-called tips or characteristics: kutastha, vijindriya, and yukta. There are three terminology he says. One is kutastha, means who the mind is already not fluctuated from this senses, is very steer and no material energy or material expectation they have. So once you have developed that mind, you are performing because you like it. You don't have any attachment with that. Oh, I want to have this money, I want to do that, I want to have that cloth or whatever. You are, maybe you are wearing the branded cloth or we are not wearing the branded cloth. It doesn't make a difference to you. So you become a kutastha. Then you have mastered all the senses. That is called vijitendriya. So you have mastered. You don't worry about the smell. You don't worry about, remember the pratyahara. We talk about the master over all the six senses, five senses, six senses, and that go beyond the senses. So that's where those person who already mastered the senses, that is a qualification for the advanced yogi. And those who are advanced yogi, we can call it. Most importantly, the person who are a yukta. Yukta means who is constantly communicated with the Supreme, constantly feel that I am a part of the divine. And whatever I'm doing is just I'm a metaphor or I'm a medium for that. Once you have that mindset, you are already an advanced yogi. Now, this is very interesting uh, uh, analysis I would like to tell here. First two looks very difficult and complicated. Let's say, if you want to put it, we already living in this society. We have a, so you said forget about the master, the senses, or I like to be somehow we are still not 100% so-called get away our pleasurable situations or pleasure senses about all this material object and all. But third thing is very easy. We can do that is constantly have that understanding that I am a, remember that individual consciousness to the pure consciousness. So understand that I am a part of that higher divine, and the same one drop of water I have from the same ocean, and I'm just a medium. I have the knowledge of performing the dance and I'm just doing, and whatever money I'm getting it, or I have a skill that divine has given me, a God has given me to speak, or my knowledge or my ability to do something, and then I'm making money or whatever I'm just doing. So whatever you don't take credit, by the way, and same time you don't get a rejection also. So once you have that, then you are already your yukti. So once you are a part of that understanding, you become a yukt and you are constantly communicating, not only one time, two times. So then you don't caught into that dilemma and you don't caught into that problem anymore. So once we have this quality and you see that any persons, you have this quality and you see that person is behaving this way, they are advanced yogi. So you will see basically all living beings are divine souls, and that's why they are a part of the God, including you and me. So we don't see as an individual. We don't point, oh, you are good, you are bad, you are male, you are female, you are educated, you are uneducated. No, you go beyond this. You go higher level. Oh, we are all same. We came from the same source. We are going to go the same source. Once we have understanding, we are already a yukt, and just perform your duties. Because once we have you, actually you don't come. Majority people try to, they become a kuthastha, then they become a master of senses and they go down. No, you go bottom to up, because bottom is very yukt. To have that understanding is very easy, because we have an intellect, we have a knowledge, we have a wisdom. Once you have that knowledge, then it is automatically you become a mastery over the senses, because then you don't bother about, okay, it's little bit salty, okay, anyway, it's okay, maybe it's good, I will eat. You don't be, it's very salty, I don't want to eat. No, because you go beyond the taste, beyond the senses. You have that understanding that everywhere there is a particles of divine. I am also divine, my mobile phone also divine. So everywhere you see the divine, everywhere you see the particles of the pure consciousness. So try to go from bottom to top, then automatically you become master easier. Now here Krishna gives you the tools how to achieve this very specifically. This is all we like to know. Self preparation to achieve the advancement in yoga. So what he says, he gives the very clearly. You will be surprised that he said how to sit down in the place. So he said you find isolated in your room. You should have a separate room in your house or wherever. That's where you can meditate. So basically from this chapter onwards, he explained how to meditate, the process, the technique, the consequences, the obstacles, and the benefit. He clearly defined very well. And majority of us, we are practicing this way. So it's good, you know. So first he says the sitting place, you need to find the proper place. That place has to be very clean, not noisy, and comfortable, whatever it is. Not luxury, comfortable. He used the word. So whichever area of how to sit down and in a correct place is fine. And he says that you need to do a daily sadhana, the spiritual practices or the meditation is very important. Now, third thing he says that your asana, your sitting place has to be not too grounded or too high. Okay. So he put it that way, that maybe your chair or something that little bit above the ground, so that any insects. So understand that obviously now we are living in our house is much more insects free, or any kind of a snake or any scorpio and all this is free from that. But those days people going into a different place, so that's why he said you put it your, but still we can use this concept little bit up, and then as long as you know that your room is very free from all the lizard and the insects, then it's fine. So is make sure that your room is very clean, very full of positive energy. You don't have any clutterness, you don't have any uh, free from the noise, and that you find a place, so that you, this is your temple. So anytime, and don't do any other activity, he mentioned that, other than the meditation. If you find, even though let's say you don't have a separate room, but you have a some guest room, and then but you make one corner or one particular chair, so that every time you go and sit down in the same place, so that you will get that more easier to meditate. So he talk about the place. Second, he talk about the how to do a posture. What is the correct posture to meditate? He said you have to sit firmly. You don't sit down lightly, and so your spine straight. And when you sit down, you firm the you don't move here and there. You don't move your head and here and there. So you just become still. Try to be still, and your spine is erect. And you have to focus in your mind and one point of concentration of your breath, and master and observe your thoughts initially, and focus all the activity, and slowly you become a master it and slow down the breath. He says here one technique here: focus on your tip of your nose and stabilize your breath. So this is the one technique he introduced. Remember the last chapter he introduced a third eye meditation. This chapter he introduced one more technique. You focus on your nasagra, so the tip of your nose, and then you become still. Now your eyes must close, and then you look at the tip of your nose, and constantly you need to engage in the meditation. Okay, so this is where he talk about the sitting part of the posture. So this is how you need to sit. He did talk about celibacy, sex. Now this is where we always discuss more, and talk about brahmacharya. So actually he emphasizes to practice the celibacy for the success or high level success of meditation. So in Agni Puran, they have defined 8 ways to master the sexual desire. So first they said, don't think about it, don't talk about it, no joke about it. So you need to envision, visionizing also, desiring, going to get someone interested into it, or enticing someone to interested in, or engaging into the sexual activity. So basically, now this is where there is a trick. You may say, okay, if I don't engage, then how do I stay in the society or my family or my relationship? So this is where we need to have at least discipline. Okay, so not, you cannot stop about it, but let's say while, let's say once you engage, you don't need to think. So try to reduce whatever unnecessary thing, because now you are already into that engagement, or the material life. So when you perform, so let's say when you, and try to not become like an entertainment. Understand that. So once it has become entertainment, then you are losing the energy, and you're focusing it to affect the mind, and then mind has become enemy. So that is the whole reason that sexual part is here is talking about. It is the advisable. It's not a must. And that's where to master this, both achievement, either you can perform the true sex and not get affected. That's where the tantra is introduced. Okay, the tantra yoga. But that's where we need, actually that is more powerful than to engage this to it. So we need to understand that, we need to aware about it. Okay, so this is where the Krishna talk about the self preparation, about how to achieve the advancement in yoga. Now what will be when you sit down in meditation, what will be your object? So he says very clearly, your object is God himself and God alone only. There's no object. Yes, initially, when you start a new to meditation, that's, he says, a rupa dhyana or virtue or the manasi seva, all these things you can start and you can develop. So first is you start with the candle gazing, or you put some om photograph or some kind of chanting, or you use any tools to communicate or to do different form of meditation. But ideally, your object is the God himself and God only. That's what he says. So the best way is to understand this is the breath. Okay. Now, there are three things I would like to explain more about. There are three types of forms of meditation. So Rupa Dhyan is, we need a form, different form. So either way, we did Om meditation. So it's like we use the form of Om or the object of Om, and then we gaze it and we use it. So this is considered a basic animation, active meditation. It will help you to connect you and focus the unnecessary thoughts is wandering, and then you can develop some kind of more concentration part of it, and we feel aware. Once you master that different form of that third eye meditation, the pranayama, advanced pranayama, the third eye meditation, the chakra meditation, kriya, cyclic, all this, you go to the second level. This is where we can do daily. Okay, now second and third is like 24/7 we can meditate. What is the second one? Is a virtue based, virtue of God. All the compassion, beauty, knowledge, love, his grace you need to feel in every moment. This is where you are meditating. So let's say your friend is inviting you, or is a cup of tea. So think this is a God grace that I'm with you and now I'm having a tea. You are giving me the opportunity to talk about the Gita. This is the gross of God of grace. I'm meditating on the thinking with that. You are having that grace that you are sitting here. So we have to keep thank and be the part of that. This whatever is happening, even the good or bad, is a part of the God grace. Number one, because sometimes the bad thing happens, we don't realize it will be eventually a good after some time. And third is very interesting. You serve your God in your mind by offerings to him, or worshiping, or singing, or cooking. So that's where the actual bhajan is coming, the singing. So I remember my mother used to cook. She immediately starts singing bhajan and cooking, as if she's cooking for the divine, as if she's cooking for the God coming. So if imagine your boyfriend is coming, newly boyfriend is coming to your house, and you are invited for the dinner, and how passionately and with that love and affection you are preparing the food that he's coming, and you are singing and you are more happy and you are preparing. Maybe your husband coming, your boyfriend coming, your girlfriend coming. You are welcoming them. But are we welcoming the divine that way? Can we do that for the divine? Can we do every activity? Now see the divine in your boyfriend. See the everywhere. Or even though there is no one is coming, you are doing a daily routine for cooking, for eating, for this. But you have to see that I'm doing for my divine, because this food is I'm creating, and that is consumption by my friend, my family members, or my mother or father or whoever it is. When I talking to someone, I'm talking and I'm communicating, I'm teaching someone, I'm driving for someone. Everywhere there is an activity is happening, there is a karma is happening. So be connected and appreciate that grace is happening, the opportunity is happening. When someone asks you the favor, that means the divine is asking you the favor, and that means you are eligible to give that, your skill or the money or the situation or the services or the skill, so that you are helping the divine in that way, you are meditating that way. So go beyond that 1 hour sit down meditation thing. This is where the higher advanced yoga Krishna talk about. The first 1 hour breathing exercise or chanting om or whatever, the chakra meditation, all this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours you sit down, this is fine. but this is the basic level. You go beyond. After this, you talk bad about your friend, and then you talk about, complain about the rain, you stress out. Then you already disturbing what you have gathering. You are already complaining. You are scolding the divine again. So we are changing. Your mind is manipulating, and mind is taking whatever is the good. You are feeling that sensuous feeling. When you sit down, you feel good. When you come out and you get a good news, bad news about the boss is scolding you, okay, why you are late or whatever, then you are scolding, and then you say the bad word, or you are irritating and you disturb. Why? You need to see that, oh, okay, I will be. So you have to see the grace in that opportunity. You have, when you are getting late, when you there suddenly the rain coming in, your work is get disturbed. This is where you need to use the number 2 and number 3 as a meditative thinking, as a meditative feeling, because someone is creating a, a opportunity, a chance for you to meditate or you to grow higher level, so that you don't get affected. And in that process or moment you are affected, then again go back. Remember the advancement of, we are not advanced yogi, we are still suffering. So you need to go to the higher level. You want to become a CEO, you have to let go the 9 to 5 job. You need to go higher level. So same thing here. Talk about. Now, once you are go beyond this and you are performing, this is where there is a lifestyle changes. Krishna mentioned very clearly. He says there is certain regulations to follow. He says, "Oh Arjun, those who eat too much," he used this eating very carefully. Too much eating, too less eating. Too much sleeping, too less sleeping. They cannot success in the yoga and meditation. It has to be very disciplined. Some people is, nowadays people are very health conscious, so they don't eat too much, but they eat very less, you know. So especially uh, nowadays the female, they want to reduce the weight and then detoxifying the food and everything. So in that, in the name of diet or in the name of yoga, they are eating very less, or they are going into a juice diet. No, you have to eat a proper normal food. So you need to have a understand your body very well. So Krishna here says that you need to eat not too less, not too much, and sleep. Two part he talked very clearly about food, eating, and the sleeping. Too much sleep also not good. Too less sleep also not good. So don't go any extreme. We need to have a moderate sleep and moderate food if you want to become a yogi, because to this too extreme we won't give you anything. Now second thing he talk about, eating recreational balance in the work, regulated in the sleep, can mitigate all the sorrows by practicing yoga. So you need to balance. Now we know this balance. This is nothing new. He has said that you need to balance eating, you need to be recreation or procreation, sexual thing. Too much engage in the sexual activity, too much eating, too much overwork, too much or too less sleep, it won't be give you the success in the yoga or meditation. It will, you will harm. Then you are feeding your mind, you are feeding your senses. So he said you need to be disciplined and regularly. So you have to identify which are the area you are going up and down, and then slowly, don't be overnight, don't be immediately stop, slowly you come down. How to come down? You increase the physical practice of yoga, increase the meditation. So automatically, whatever it is high, if you are eating too much, automatically it will reduce. If you are sleeping too much, automatically you sleep less and you get energy. You don't get tired. So all these things will start balancing itself. And that's why the hatha yoga, ha and tha, it's a balanced yoga. So once you start physical yoga, once you start the pranayama, you automatically balance. And that's why when we do advanced yoga, we need to be master the physical yoga first, emotional yoga first, kriya yoga first, then automatically you can have that understanding. Once you are regulated and disciplined in this flow, then you may have a questions. When does a person complete with the practice of yoga? When do you think is the completion? That's where you have the mind. Now your mind is controlled. The chitta is very controlled and become fixed, focused, exclusively on the God. So here the Krishna gave the example of the lamp. That lamp, sometimes the lit lamp, the flame is moving, fluctuating due to the wind. So the wind is nothing but all these senses, all these worldly things, the material things still helping in this. But you need to be very stable. If the lamp is lit on the windproof room, then you will see the very stable flame. So our mind has to be stable and fixed and focused into exclusively to the God, to the divine. Then you are ready and you are complete advanced yogi. Okay. Now, once you become an advanced yogi, you are controlled mind. That's where Krishna says, very interesting. All the yogis, those whose mind are always absorbed in me, who engage a devotion in me, two things, and great faith, three things in me, I consider them as the highest of all yogis. So he clear cut give that who is I give you the authority, or who is I make you the number one yogi, is those who always absorption with me every moment. Number three, in the mind I am serving the divine, I am serving that virtue, and I'm meditating with devotion and great faith, no doubt, faith, then I am the best. And he liked me and he put me as a highest yogi. So this is whatever the practice we do, if we have to have these three criteria to be liked by the Krishna, to be liked by the divine, to be liked by that favorite student of the divine. So this is what, and I need to aware about it. Now, if we do that way, if we practice that way, then what will be the result? The result is amazing. Then our mind is purified and distinct from this bodily. You go beyond the gunas, mind, body, and intellect, and like that muddy water. So muddy water, you don't see that clear water, but the mud will settle down. Then you can see that the water very clearly through that end. So similarly, all the impulses of the mind and the emotions is settle down. Then you can see very clearly. And that's where you go to that deeper level of the samadhi. And once you are going there and you are experiencing the supreme boundless divinity within you and the experience of that bliss, Anandamaya Kosha, you'll be there because you see everywhere, you feel that everywhere. And you feel that absolute truth, the pure consciousness in every things what you do, every object you hold it, you feel that. And without any moment, you don't like disconnect, because you are already have that connection, that Wi-Fi connections you have, and that's why you don't get it any issues with that. So attainment of bliss will happen. Once you are in that bliss, automatically the freedom will come, freedom from this misery. So all this day-to-day life, all this, you are going beyond that, you are free. And this meditation will help you to removing the mind from the world, and you put it inside. It will helping you to turn inside and try to be, you are using your intellect to it become more wisdom, and then you can contemplate, and that will give you the more knowledge, experience from within you, and then you use that, and it become a more self-motivated experience, self-motivated practice. Now sometimes there is, I think we have all experienced this, you have this experience of bliss for a little while. Some of you was telling me that when we are practicing physically in Singapore or Miami, that time I was feeling this experience, and now we are not coming here, we are not practicing, we lose this, and now I feel like I'm not good. This is very natural. So what is the solution? He says, keep practicing. Because first, when you don't convince the intellect, the mind is going away. So you need to put forcefully, remove the mind from the world and put it the world, and tell that mind, the world is not is my goal. Here you have to use your willpower, your stubbornness. Secondly, you need to think that God and God only is mine and my realize. My breath is with me and only I work for my breath. And this is the priority in my life. So you have to tell and put it together. And then mind is go away. Then you put it, repeat 1 and 2. So this cycle, we need to keep doing it. So once we are doing that, then slowly you realize that all the material body, wherever I see, I will see the divine consciousness. And you have to keep practice. Okay, now, those who are sadhak means the person who is practicing the spiritual practices. You will say, or the sadhak say, how I know that I'm progressing? Yes, I'm practicing the divinity, I'm having the bliss. So you only know that you are progressing. And you will know very easily. The elevated meditator will see everything in the connection with the God. This is what the Krishna says. Once you are in a progressing, you will see, you will feel it, every particles in that divinity. Everywhere you will see yourself in others and others in you. You will feel the pain. You will see the object, in object you will see yourself. So this is where the inner transcendental bliss will start increasing. The mind is become under control and your consciousness is become spiritually elevated. And once you are doing that, you will feel very happy. Now that happiness, I would like to here try to define this way. There are 4 types of happiness here. So if you are in a first 2 or 3 level of happiness, if you are experiencing, that means we still haven't progressing enough. First is tamasic, that is you need alcohol or cigarette or food or some kind of particular products, or some people is doing some violence or party or whatever, or sleep to get happiness. Okay, number 1. Number 2, gratifications of 5 senses and this mind. Oh, I would like to work, I would like to go and just eat with this particular, this new year party, I would like to go and enjoy this party is beautiful, or I want to go with the dinner. So you want to entertain yourself, your senses and your mind. Then you are a rajasic happiness. Sattvic, you practicing the virtue like a compassion, service to others, you do voluntary work and cultivation of knowledge, and you sit down, you're practicing this. So this is still better. This is like a yoga, but you haven't become an advanced yogi. So advanced yogi is become a 4th one, nirguna happiness. Nirguna is go beyond the gunas, beyond the rajas, sattva and tamas. This is where you go into. So this junction we need to cross. Now we have discussed this on the previous few chapters. The same thing talk about go beyond the gunas. That's where the divinity bliss is there. This is where the infinite happiness is there. That happiness will keep coming and coming. And once you go beyond the gunas, you are already in the samadhi. Okay. So if you say the sattva, practicing the number 3 is a meditation, number 4 is a samadhi. And you are keep traveling in that. Because that's where you go beyond the gunas. Now here, also if you see the God in everything and everyone, so you will never lose the contact of the God. That means you are already a progressing. Everywhere you see, everywhere you feel it. And when you see everything and everyone, a God within, then you don't lose God. You are keep connected all the time. I am situated in hearts of all the living beings. You will feel yourself that I am everywhere. And everyone is within you. You will feel it. You will behave it. you will experience it. And you will develop ultimately samadarshana, equality of visions. We already discussed in a previous chapter, that is perfected by the yogis. Now the word is perfected. That means every moment you will see that expansive nature, expansive vision that you don't compare into small. So you go elevate yourself and see that aerial view. Equal, everyone is the same. You don't have a priority. You don't have a prejudices. You don't have a favoritism about that. So once you start, then the perfected yogis, the light of realized knowledge, see everything in the connection with the God. So when we are progressing, true progress will happen once we see everything is happening around us, everything is happening to us, is the grace or the Leela of the Krishna is happening. That is where we know that I am doing progress. Now, or when put it like 1 to 5 points to put it together for you. When your senses is you master, when you give up all the material desire, when the focus, your mind is only the God and God only alone. Think of him with unwavering mind. Everywhere you see the God, everywhere you feel the God, and everyone you will see the equal vision. That means you are progressing. These are the symptoms. If you see that, if you feel it, and if you're experiencing this 1 to 5, that means you are already a experienced yogi. Now, this is where one interesting turning point in this conversation. So far, the Krishna was explaining and talking. Okay. Now here, Arjun asked the question. He interrupts Krishna and says, "Oh Krishna, the system of yoga, what you explained to me or you described to me, oh Madhusudan, is one of the name of Krishna, appears impractical to me and unattainable to me. It looks very difficult due to the restlessness of my mind." Now, this is exactly what you and me feel, right? I know this. What you have talked about is very difficult to achieve this. Mind is, he again says in a second verse, he says, my mind is very restless and turbulent and strong to control. So, oh Krishna, appears to me that is more difficult to control than the wind. He says to Krishna that my mind is, you talk about to controlling and mastering the mind. I think that my mind or the mind is difficult to control than the wind. I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. This is where we need to connect ourselves. Yes, I think we also have the same issues. All the things I think we learn already, we knew. Now, so he asked us very simple question. Now I would like you to tell me. So he says in a way, indirectly, that give me the solution, how to master the mind. Now, can you tell me can you guess what will be the Krishna's answer? Can you tell me? What do you think? Since we already knew, we already talked all this in our teacher's training, whatever you experience, what do you think the answer is? What will be the answer given by the Krishna? Any guess?
Devotion.
No.
No.
He says two words very clearly. Vairagya and Abhyasa. This is the same word. If you See, the Yoga Sutra Patanjali also has described. Vairagya is a detachment and abhyas, practice. Keep practice, practice, practice. He gives the importance of the practice. He never say any other things. It's just very simple and straightforward. You work, you practice without any attachment. Simple. Without any goal, without anything. You want to practice, you like a practice, feel the practice, that's it. Keep practicing so that you will master the mind. Imagine here, if anyone wants to become a gold medal, we want to get a gold medal in Olympic, what you do? You need to keep practice. Any field, material practice, material world, the business or any meditation, if you don't use these two tools, you will never succeed. So he says very clearly, Vairagya and Abhyasa. How to practice? He use a detachment. Don't practice because you want to achieve it. Otherwise, you will never. You set a goal is fine. You want to make $1 million or you want to achieve the gold medal. That is fine. Or you want to become a true yogi or you want to master the shoulder stand. That is the goal is fine. But when you are practicing, forget about your goal and enjoy the practice one day at a time, one moment at a time. Keep learning. And then without any attachment of that form or without attached with that goal, keep practicing doing. And then only you will become master. And that's where you will get the mastery over the mind. So he reveals the secrets here, how to master the mind, only two ways. Keep practice, abhyasa and vairagya. And the secret of practice is a detachment. Okay. And those who will not learn the bridle of the mind through the abhyas and vairagya find difficulty to practice in yoga. Not only difficult to practice in yoga, but everywhere. You won't be successful. So he gives a very clear-cut tools here to mastery. Now, so Arjun keep quiet here. He got answer because Krishna never explained no justification. Only he used the two things. If you want to master the mind, use this two things. That's it. You don't practice, don't talk to me. Something like that. Now that create another question to the Arjun. This question is very, very important. Understand that. Arjun asked 3 questions back to back to Krishna. He says, what happens, the fate of the unsuccessful yogi here? That means you already start, now we are already practicing yoga. And then some of the reason you let go, practice, and then you caught into material world. And you totally forget the practice of meditation. You are enjoying your life, basically. And then after a few years, you totally forget about yoga or anything, and you live your life, basically. Okay, then what happens to that yogi or that person? He asked the one question. He also said that some reason, sometimes some people is very spiritually practices and something happens in their life. They totally, let's say after marriage, they totally, or after certain new relationship or something, they, some reason the practice go away and they forget the meditation, everything, and they caught into that new relationship and everything and their new life, or they indulge into the material world, or they suddenly you become a millionaire and you totally, you don't see that your life will become very beautiful. So you don't see that practicing and importance of this. Then what happens to that unsuccessful yogi? He used this word here. Or sometimes people let go due to that unstable mind. Majority of us like that. When we have a problem, when we have a suffocation, we have a bad about relationship or any issues, then we start getting answers, or then we start sit down and try to look for it, or look for the guru, look for the person, you look for the friend. When you don't have problem, when you are a beautiful life, when you have $1 million, when you have all the relationship good, you don't bother to say hello, you don't bother to come to the class, you don't bother to do this. Then what happens to that situation? It's like a unsteady mind yogi. So what will happen? So it's the unable to reach that goal of the life. Okay, so they don't reach that goal, that ultimate goal. What happens to that yogis? Number one, he says, he asks another questions back to back. So these kind of persons, those who have like, they are living the two worlds, material and the spiritual world. Now, initially you start material and then you go to spiritual, and then you are like, one leg is in materialistic, one leg is in spiritual side. And some reason you break. Or imagine this, let's say right now you are very spiritually inclined, and then you are learning yoga and you are mastering, your life is good in spiritual side and your material life okay. And suddenly something happens, and then you caught into the material world, or you got a good job, or you good a relationship, and you don't practice the meditation and everything, and you go lower down the things. Then you are neither good into spirituality, neither good into material world. That means you are both side. Or sometimes you renunciate the world, and then you want to come back again and you get married. There are so many people do that at one point of time. They let go all the family, they let go all the worlds and job and everything, they go away, and they practice in Himalayas and everything. And then after some years and some moments, they indulge themselves, they found some life partner and they get married, and they back to again a normal life. Then what happens to that kind of yogi? So he's asking very interesting question here. You don't ask, the true question is totally different from the other questions. You see that? That means he already got the answer. Now he's using that intelligence, and then he said, is Arjuna asks again, if this kind of people is like that split cloud, he give that analogy of the cloud. That cloud is split, and that no longer part of that world, that actual the group of the cloud, because the one small piece of cloud neither carry the weight and get rain, or it will carried by that wind here and there. So you neither be a spiritualistic, now you are not achieving any material thing. So all those people, what is the faith, what is the future? Now this is where Krishna give very interesting answer. And before I answer, I would like to ask you, what do you think? Krishna give the answer. What do you think? We are all in the same situation at some point of time. Maybe some point of time you are very much experiencing yourself. Our fraction is very less, but Arjuna's in a long term. Our is very short term. Maybe let's say last year, when you are 6 months, you are very practicing very much, and after the moment you got a job or new country, or you travel another country, your practices go down for last 3 months, and then it may rise again. So this is little bit, he talk about little bit, but Arjuna's a limited, a longer time. What do you think the Krishna gave the answer? What do you think the real answer of what will be the fate of this kind of yogi? He gives very positive answer rather here. So he says very interesting thing. Listen, once a yogi, always a yogi.
Thank God.
No, that's why I say it is very positive answer. Now try to understand this. Why you are here, all of you? Why I am here? At one point of time, we don't know each other. We talk about it. We learn about it, because this is where we carried our past sanskara. Why you have there are so many things you can be doing at this point of time. You can be doing party, you can be doing having enjoyment in shopping or anything, but why you are sitting here and listening this? There is something is having in you as a yogi that is not fulfilled in your past karmas or the past life or the past sanskara, that help you in this time, this moment, whenever the right time coming in. That's where we are connecting our notes, and that's where this is how the beautiful life is. We are connecting. We don't know each other, but we are talking about and we are connected. and we are growing. Now tomorrow you may be leaving. We don't see each other for so many years and again we come back. This is the Leela, it's called, Krishna says. Don't try to think. So, and you have, when you have an interest in the spiritual path, when you have an interest in practicing meditation, when you are having a interest in the practice of yoga, that means at one point of time in your life, either this life or the other life, you will become a, or you was a yogi, or you have this path of journey, but it is unfulfilled. It's like a accounting. You are carry forward the balance every month, every year, every life, until your balance sheet is matched. Once your balance sheet is matched, we no longer come in this human body, and we liberate and we get a true moksha and we go higher level. That means now here, see another thing he said, what Krishna says. God preserves the devotees. He used the word preserves. Can you imagine the beautiful word preserves? He preserves us right now. We are a devotees to him. That's why we have an interest and we talk about yoga and spiritual and this life. We are hungry. So somehow we like it or we don't like it. We know it or we don't know. We are a devotees to the divine already. We are already in that boat, but we don't appreciate ourselves. So God is preserving and taking that grace for this world, and it's coming after the world, next life. So this life we are already preserved. That's why you are meeting this like-minded people, like-minded person, and like-minded situation. Sometimes we think, why I'm doing this situation, but this is where it help us to preserve our divinity within us. He's taking care of us, knowingly, unknowingly. Secondly, he says, fallen yogi sometimes sent to the celestial adobe to the long time and then come again and granted the birth of the earth. So basically, now here you will see that they will come again and continue that journey. Now here you need to understand, sometimes some child is very intelligent from the birth, or they knew so many skill from the childhood itself. Vivekananda, classic example. Bruce Lee, they already have done so much thing in their limited time because they are born yogis in a way. So they have done so many things. What we are talking and discussing, they already learned from that past life. So imagine when we take a breath, let's say we don't get a moksha, so we are going to die. I'm just giving examples so that you can clear. And we die, and next birth, we don't learn a Yoga Sutra and Gita, by the way. We already have that understanding as a child and we go higher level. Thank God, that is the best. We don't need to repeat all these courses. So we are continuing and we are graduating. That is where we are implementing and understanding our sanskara, provided if you are practicing, by the way. Understand that. If you are not practicing, if you are listening, you are entertaining your mind, then it won't save. If it is not saved, it won't be go into your subconscious, and it's no use. You are wasting your time. Then rather you enjoy in a party and pub. Don't be hypocrite. So that's why the practice implementation is important. When you don't practice, you don't store your sanskara, you don't your karma points on this birth. We need to have the karma points. Technically, I'm trying to make it some word here. Okay, so we need to have that brownie points. Okay, today I practice. Okay, I have 1 point here, 2 point here. I meditate. I enjoy my life. Today I enjoy. So these are the points. That means you already learn this and you experiment and experience. That means you don't need to, no longer you are already going step by step, 1 point of time. But if you just listen, you are entertaining your mind. Oh, I know the Yoga Sutra. I know this. I know that. But you don't experience, you don't implement in your life. Your lifestyle is the same, your nature is the same, your habits is the same, your so-called the senses and pleasure is the same. That means we are just talking. It's the same thing. You are hang out with the friend and then you just entertain, and you are serious in the relationship, but the other person is not in the serious. But when you want to say, oh, tell me, I want to marry you, and you never, how many we are living together, let's say 10 years, now you are not serious, then you are wasting time, he's wasting time. What is the point? So same way, in that situation, you rather don't listen to the Yoga Sutra. You don't come and talk about yoga. You enjoy fully your life, material life. Don't be caught into that. So if you do that, you do it slowly, less, but do properly. No need to show up, because you are cheating to yourself. You are cheating to your experience and consciousness. So here there is a one threat also we need to aware about. Now, third thing is very interesting. He says, see, all of us, I feel also, and I'm sure that you also feel the same way, that we are very fortunate. We born in a different country. We born in a different family. We don't choose the family. We don't choose the parents. Why? Can you imagine in your wild imagination, the person who born in, let's say, Syria, or the difficult country, Afghanistan, or some kind of country, and then they have a difficulty, the whole surrounding is like a war, like a situation. Forget about the food and all this, but they have a life threatening every moment. Now, do you think they can listen all this topic? How do you imagine that how the parents look like? Big parents can talk about this, because you never know what is the next meal like to be. They don't have enough money, they don't have any particular house or whatever, and no enough food. So how long it from them to take and become a full yogi? It will take so many birth. So you see that we have a luck and grace that we live in a very sophisticated country. Number one, we born into a very good family. We have a very good father, mother that can help us, and created a platform of good meal. At least we open the fridge or whatever and we buy a meal, and we have a ability to listen and Google and talk and access of all these yogis and practices and do with this. We have a comfortable in our house. You can write down, we have a millionaire by this grace. We can see that. That means we already completed certain phase in our lives. So that's why we are born in this yogi. So Krishna says here very clearly, when you born in a Shri family, he used the word Shri, is called wealthy family. Because why it's not that you want to enjoy the material, because you are, so that you don't waste time to look for the food. You don't waste time to look for the surroundings. So you already born and brought up so that you can practice the yoga, and you understand this and fulfill your journey ASAP in this birth, so that you don't need to take the new birth. But if you don't understand that opportunity or the grace, what we have it, we are totally wasting the time. Now, similarly, the children coming through you, also they are same lucky and enjoyable, provided they understand them. If they don't understand, they are playing around with that spiritual journey. So understand that this is the same like a carry forward thing. We are continuing the journey. So Krishna says we are accumulating the spiritual assets here. What is the spiritual assets? Detachment, wisdom, devotion, faith. I'm sure at first time you met me, or when we see each other, we don't know each other. You may have thought so many negative things or different things or weird things. I have maybe a difference of opinion or whatever. But when the time pass by, when we meet more often by way of different ways, then you are developing and accumulating that asset. So these are the assets we need to build up in this life ASAP, and we need to balance it. It's very straightforward. This is only possible when you realize that how we are lucky at this point of time. At least you are lucky that you are making that effort every Thursday, listening at least. Now, implementation is another part, but at least you are putting it. But don't stop there. Don't listen. Now need to analyze the practice, Vijnana, the science, the realization has to happen. Then you are entering that. You go to the job, you go to your office, and you don't tap your attendance card. What is the point? Although you fill up the whole day, but your attendance as absent. We don't want to do that. We are practicing, we are listening to you. 2 hours you are listening. So you have to have attendance mark so that your point or your asset has been created by sitting down and understanding. So this is very important here. And the call for the God, here the word, the call of the God is the strongest of all the call in your life. Now, what I would like to define here, the call of the God is like, that call of the duty for the military people. So what you mean by the call of the God? Sometimes when you see, we have seen sometimes so much of millionaire people or the actor, actresses, or very well-to-do family or the person, similar like Buddha, suddenly something happened in their life and they let go everything and they become yogi. Do you know that? Similar like Buddha, so many rich and famous people, at one incident happened in their life and they let go everything and they become a yogi. They want to go and they become a more spiritual practitioner, and they let go everything and they donate everything. This is where the right time coming, and then the call of the God is duty is coming in. So this is also, they accumulated the point and the right time comes, they evoke. So we need to understand that. Okay, so everyone has that call of the duty. Now it's up to us how you want to clear your depth, how fast you want to clear that depth, how fast you want to settle this balance sheet so that we don't want to come again. Why we don't want to come again? Because why you want to work as a manager whole life? You want to work as a senior manager, you want to work as a CEO. So we already experienced this planet Earth. We already experienced, more or less. We know that how the things works, how to experience. Now we need to go to the higher level of another world, another consciousness level. To going there is a criteria, there is an eligibility that we need to settle the accounts here. What are the accounts? Without any desire, without anything to be saved. Once we have that karma points ready, then we need to easy to travel to the another world, and we get a access pass. That pass Krishna has defined in upcoming chapters through the bhakti yoga and how you will be doing it. So we will learn later on. But here he's talk about the call of the God will coming in every point of your life, my life. You already, some of you is, there is no connection with the yoga and meditation, but there is a call of God happens through the some incident, happens through some individuals, happens through some situation. Then you connect it. Now it's up to you. You need to understand that why these things happen. There is a reason. And once you caught in, and then you can grow fast. So the ultimate bottom line, Krishna says that once you are a yogi, you are always a yogi. But is we need to have that understanding how fast we need to go to the higher level, and we need to settle this. Then we can go to the another consciousness level. Perfection in yoga is the result of accumulated practice of many life. Now, if you are learning this also, as I said, we are carry forward our experiences. Some people can do certain postures very well. Some people can have that understanding very well. This is all accumulated knowledge from the past experience, that is saved experience. So if you ask me, what is the outcome of this chapter? Very important is the practice. We are good in listening. We are good in to know more about, but that we are entertaining the mind. Okay, don't do that. It won't give you any points. You are going to that job, your office, but you are not tapping your attendance card. So no point. You tap the point card. That is very important by practicing and experiencing that whatever the feeling. Once you do that, you are saving your spiritual assets. develop and build your spiritual assets. Then we are halfway, we are in this life. And then whatever happens, we carry over and we connected. That's why we need more like-minded people. We need a group. We need a person who can help us. We need a friend. We need a community to grow each other, to help each other, to fund each other, so that the spiritual asset can be shared and can help us to settle down. If I have more money, if I'm not sitting down, if you need money, I can help you so that your balance sheet will tally. It's the same thing what we are doing. If you don't know certain practice, you have difficulty, have understanding, this is what we are clear. But we understand not for the mind. We need to invest in ourselves. Then you will see the fruits. So this is what Krishna says very beautifully. Now here, the last verse, he talked about this. Who are the superior yogis? He talked about. So he says those tapasvi, the ascetic person, or the gnani or the karmic, the person who do rituals or for the cultivation of knowledge, for the entertainment. He said all the threes, the yogi who's striving not for the world but for the God is superior, all of them. So he said, I don't bother. He actually put three down and he said, because these three people, they are doing for some kind of there is some expectation. They are still bound by these three gunas. So you go beyond that, and you see you are doing everything from that divine, everything for the world, everything for that divinity. Then they are the superior, and they like me, and I like you. He clearly says that. And the last verse he says about this chapter 6, of all the yogis, those whose mind are always absorbed in me as a divine, as a God, who engage in the devotion. Again, you use a devotion word here. To me, with faith, I consider them the highest of all. Very simple. So he never said that who can perform the shoulder stand or who can perform this kriya is the highest. No, he just say that engage in the devotion and always absorbed in me and have a faith. Three things. Remember the last through slide. Three things I consider the best and highest of all. Now, doing this, by the way, we don't need to do meditation. We don't need to do yoga. We don't need to do. What he says, he provide a bhakti yoga, provides a closest and the most complete realization of the God. He introduced again a tool or bhakti yoga here, because the upcoming chapter is related, or the seed is starting from the bhakti yoga. So here he put it that how we should work, how we should think, how we should behave, how we should practice. He give this, that if we absorb all the time with the divine, with the same engage in the devotion and have a faith, then we are already a higher level of yogi. Whatever we do in your life, while you are cooking, while you are doing, understand that I am not doing for myself, I'm not doing for any other person, I'm doing for the divine. Because divine is within me and divine is giving me the skill to do that. So when you are doing in that mindset, whatever the outcome, also the responsibility for the divine itself. If it is a success, oh, thank you very much, it's divine is within you, because of your grace is happened. Or failure, oh, tell me, whatever, I will accept it. Now give me the ways, show me the ways, how do I perform again so that I can be successful. Now, whatever the case is, that's where he introduced the three things. You need to always absorb in the divinity within you, engage with the devotion. He used the word devotion, not any other word, and have a faith, because without faith, there is no devotion. And without trust, there is no faith. So you should not have any doubt. So once you have a faith, you have a devotion, and once you have a devotion, you will see everywhere. It's the same way how you fall in love initially. You will see everywhere your boyfriend or girlfriend initially, or your child. You think about it 24/7, you are surrounded by them. Now, similarly, we need to do with the divinity, a divine, or this breath. Then you will see the wonderful results. So he is here. So in a way, indirectly, he says the Bhakti Yoga is the shortest, fastest, and closest to the God. Yes, we need to practice Hatha Yoga. We need to practice all this, but this is the easiest and the best way to reach me. And upcoming chapters, he will introduce more detail in about Bhakti Yoga. So this is all about the chapter 6. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you were talking about focusing on the tip of the nose, was that in reference to purifying before sitting for meditation, or what was that in reference to? Because if you're talking about focusing on the in between the eyebrows versus the tip of the nose, what's the difference?
Okay. He says that the first thing, last chapter we talk about the focusing on the eyebrow. That is a form of meditation. That's where, if you remember, is the purifications of the senses. So there are two, you are killing two birds in one practice. So when you sit down and focusing your third eye while closing the eye, and he says with that reference, he says another to slow down the breath. So when you slow down the breath, inhale and exhale, and then you are focusing simultaneously here, that's where the purification happens. And that's where your mastery over the mind will start happening. So all that entanglements, what you are developing, that you are slowly develop that focusing, and you are going there. So that's where the self part. Now in this today, what he talk about here is more like a meditative technique. Now this is one of the advanced mudra. I will talk or teach you some other time. Okay, there are few mudras, advanced level mudra, but one of the mudras is here to focus. First we do with open eyes, second we do with the closed eyes. So he talk about the advanced level mudra. He never give any name, but there is a few mudras. Okay, because by the way, we learn a few mudras, but we never understand the mudras because we take it for granted because it's so simple to do this or do this or do this and practice with the akara ukara. But the mudra itself is a high level of yoga. So we will talk about some other time, but he talk about similar mudra. So at least for this chapter, maybe I can show you next time or somewhere how to perform this mudra and what are the this. But before you practice the mudra, you need to experience the physical part, because mudra is very sensitive. If you are not understand the prana and energy, you don't perform, you don't understand what is happening in your emotions, what is happening in your breath, you need to slow down so much. Okay, but so here he talk about that one, you talk about purification, this one you talk about meditation.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah,
Prashant.
man. Yeah, hi. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. So every time we are meditating, should we slow down the breath and focus here on the center of the eyebrows so we can slow down the senses, and like you say, you're doing like killing two birds in one stone? Should we do that? Or is that like bad? Like,
Okay.
I sit down and I'm meditating, can I be like, okay, today I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do everything, but I'm going to focus here and I'm going to slow down my breath?
Okay. Slowing down of your breath, definitely you can do all the practice of meditation.
Yeah.
Is good. But when you see the eyebrow here, you need to do some before the cleansing practice, because if you haven't done a regular practices and you suddenly try to see here, you will have a headache, you will have a migraine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do a cleanse.
When I say cleansing, is not that cleansing about the jalneti and kriya, that is there, but there is a trataka or different types of cleansing. If you remember what we did it, So that practice, and then little bit physical practice of postures when we do. So then what, you don't feel that strain on this, although your eyes is closed, but you can
Yeah.
practice. You know, the candle gazing is one of the
Yes.
best. So that can help.
Yes.
So you can do that if but you start slowly. You don't put it to like let's say 15 minutes you just concentrate. No, you start with maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. You start with candle gazing, and then slowly, because once you attach, you will hooked up, and then it will open up a new perspective and those the meditate inside of it. So yeah, you can do that slowly, steadily, go with the flow. Simple.
Okay.